Hello, and welcome to Behind the Synth. Today's synth chat is with sound designer extraordinaire, Richard Devine. And this is his performance, Hydra Drone. Yeah? Good? Oh, and that kind of ended nicely.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. Hi, Richard. How you doing, man?
How are you guys?
Richard, that is your space in Atlanta, right?
That is correct.
Man,
Yes. Mhm.
that is one of those spaces that everyone dreams that they could have one day. That's so cool. And you have the hue system there?
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
the hue lighting systems
Beautiful.
for all the tracks.
I love the purple, man. It looks great. And then Nate is in California.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
Yes.
here I am in wonderful Bellingham, Washington, in a chroma key room. This is my room. This is my normal. No. Anyway, yeah, I set up my stuff, and I have the montage
It's
screen
like-
here too. So
It's like you have an extra dimensional space in your house. Like you just built this sort of parallel dimension that you can go into, and there's no physical constructs. You just kind of float.
that's what I do. That's how I roll in this.
It's kind of like that movie Altered States with this. Remember that, Richard? Did
I'm
you,
from
Yeah.
Altered States.
with the sensory deprivation tanks and turning into goats and that
yeah,
sort
the
of thing.
smashing against
That's
the
what-
wall.
That's what Blake does to relax at night.
Yeah, I'm in the sensory deprivation tank right now, and this is just my mind. This is my soul. Well, I know that you worked on the Smart Morph sound set that is now in OS 3.5 for Montage and OS 2.5 for Modi X, and I remember when we first saw the very initial prototypes of this technology. I remember Nate was actually, dude, you got to go check out the montage that we have in our little sound design lab. Ota Sensei is doing something crazy, dude. So we saw the first part of it, and it's like, what is this little grid thing? When he had first started the little Smart Morph. In fact, since we're talking, I can make the screen look, this. I remember seeing this thing and going, what is that? And he goes, I don't know, man, but it's an FM morphing thing that uses some machine learning to do its thing.
I think it also scans for life forms too, maybe. It looks like a Spock screen or something like that from Star Trek.
So, and this one, Hydra Drone, I believe is yours. In fact, I know it's yours since we already talked about it. So,
Yes.
and the thing I like about this particular sound is you also have the two FM pad sounds that aren't being smart morphed that kind of add a consistency in the pad sound. But the thing that's happening is I think we can hear this here, right?
Yeah.
So just but I love that, in the Hydra, in this screen here, that, the things that you press on, and best thing to do this is to look at the actual edit. You have the little lines, so the things where your blue dot is, right, is closest to that sound, which I thought was an interesting thing as we looked into it. So this one is more that lead sound that you chose in here.
Yep.
Synth lead analog. Ironically so. And then, the bass, there's this cool thing here. And then obviously everything kind of just... There's some stuff up here that It's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the little...
I'm so happy you guys used it on the webpage too. When you talk about what this morph technology is, you actually use my Hydra Synth patch in the cloud example, and I was so stoked to see that. I was like, oh, that's awesome that they chose that preset to show users what this technology is capable of doing. Because I was just blown. I'll be honest with you, I was blown away when I first sat down and played with this feature. It really took me by surprise. I was like, this is where we need to really be going. And I was Coming from working at Google, I know Doug Eck and the guys that work on the Magenta project. They're really big into AI, machine learning based tools to create music using TensorFlow, and they have their whole department in research. So I was very well at their program, and I was really inspired by a lot of their work. And I've been wanting to figure out how to incorporate some of that technology into how I make music and make sounds, and thankfully, you guys had already jumped on the boat with that. You're one of the first companies that I've seen that have taken this technology and put that into a synthesis workstation, and did a very elegant job of the GUI, how you set up things, and the GUI goes and mapping those trajectories, and having it process those 1,024 different variations that you can get, which is really, it's astonishing what it does. And as a sound designer, it's like a dream come true, because you can, you give the algorithm, you tell them like, hey, I like these patches, and then it will generate infinite variations based on that. And you can keep having it reanalyze and rescan for, even new variations if you want. I thought that was incredible. Just one preset can give you hundreds, thousands of different sounds, with almost very little effort from the user to, for very little user. But I have so many C, D, E, F variation presets made just from, taking the same preset and just having it reanalyze it, and then maybe tweaking some things, and then, maybe switching some of the original presets out with something different, and maybe have it reanalyze a bunch of different stuff and do, a whole different set of possible variations that it outputs. But it's just crazy inspiring. I hope other people see this and see the potential of how awesome this is, as far as being a very creative sound design tool for creating patches, and not only that, but as you were just showing off, like you can just being able to kind of sweep with your finger into different regions. You can get just so many different timbres, like in just a couple seconds of moving your finger around. My hats are off to you guys for creating something so awesome. It has blown me away in every aspect of it. And I've been using it pretty much nonstop since I've updated 3.5 here to generate sounds, and it's just killer. Yeah.
Well, I just
so Richard,
I just redid your thing too. I just while you were talking, I just ran learn again.
Yeah.
I love that you can do that just that easily.
That easily. Yeah.
And this is a cool man. It has a little bit more of a pad thing to it, but you were gonna. Sorry, Nate. I just I had to, go ahead.
Oh no. I was curious. Like like you said, when we first saw this thing, it was so new and caught us off guard. Wow, really? Wow, this is really cool. And when I, the first time I did what you're doing now, so hit the analyze button and start playing around with it, I go, if we showed this to Richard Devine, he's going to love this sort of thing. So, Richard, when you first got this, like, how did you start? What was your kind of exploration process? How did you just start getting into it and figuring out how it would work for you and putting sounds together? Yeah,
the way that I approached creating my presets for this project was that I actually went in and created some new FMX presets, the individual voices, just because I was like, well, let's try some musical things, let's try some non-musical things, and just see how well it blends all of these elements together. So I did more like pad sounds, more kind of like Rhodesy piano things, stuff that had less harmonics, that was smoother than stuff that had lots of harmonics and noisier, timbres that kind of dirty up things, because I was just curious how well the algorithm would like mix and mash these different sounds together. And so it was a lot of exploration. So it kind of made me think of just like, all right, well, let me play around with the ingredients first before I even throw them at the machine learning algorithm, and just come up with a group of sounds that would be fun to see what would happen. So I was curious to see, like, if you start from like a musical standpoint, then it morphs through like a bass type sound, then it morphs into like a pad, and then to a piano sound, to like a string sound, and then to something that's completely non-musical, like a tonal noise, you know, and then see how it tries to, you know, triangulate all these different things into this, you know, this hodgepodge of new variations that are spread around on these different colored regions, you know, on the Smart Morph screen. And it's it was just it's fascinating. Every time I play with it, I'm just fascinated with the results. I'm fascinated with the whole approach of how it deals with sound, and then all of the you know, interesting different things that you can get from it. You can even, you know, like Blake was showing, you can grab any one of those sounds and move the position of that trajectory, so it's moving over different regions, so it's blending and being analyzed with a whole different set of sounds that you've chosen, so that, you know, your results will be even completely different. And then, you know, you can even, you know, like what I've been doing, because I've been going back and even switching out the different sounds in the presets and just trying out different things. It's just there's so much to explore. It's just like endless upon endless, interesting, provocative, you know, variations based on these sounds that you pick. So it's like I said, it's fascinating what it does. And for users out there who don't necessarily want to have to spend so much time, you know, getting their head in, digging in, and programming presets, they can just simply pick some presets that they like in the montage as a starting point, and then have the Smart Morph feature pick hundreds of thousands of variations based on their favorite presets. You can even use just 2 or 3 if you want, and then find something that will timbrally fit to your composition. Or it's just an incredibly powerful tool that saves you a lot of time from having to really get your hands dirty. You know, I'm one of those guys who loves to get his hands dirty and program stuff from the ground up, but you know, I'm not going to say no to something this cool that can generate stuff so quickly. You know, it really is genius. A lot of people should find out about this. I love the model that you guys use, the way that it's, you know, this should be an example that other companies should pay attention to. I think you guys really set the bar high on this one, and this is a great example of something that was executed beautifully, and the results are amazing. You know, it's an inspiring springboard to create new sounds. And, you know, that's a thing that's a problem too that's out there right now with a lot of the tools. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, this is a great synthesizer, but it's such a pain to program, you know, like you've given us all these powerful tools, and, you know, but the part of creating the sounds, I want to create some sounds that I could call my own. That can be the most difficult obstacle for a lot of people to get over, you know. And there's a lot of people out there that don't want to program their own sounds. They just want to get sounds that they can write music with right away, you know, where they're not spending hours programming and slaving trying to get just a couple of sounds they could use in a song. And it's features like these that are really amazing for generating so many results. And like I said, I've been creating all these variations of like my existing presets, and I've made new presets that I've made new variations off of, and then I keep reanalyzing. I'll find something else that's great, and I keep adding more and more stuff. And, you know, I'm probably going to fill up my montage's memory here soon, but it's just, it's super inspiring just to be able to find all of, you know, create and find all of these sounds so quickly without having to, you know, spend, you know, just hours upon hours programming stuff and getting lost in menus and things. This is such a fun way of discovering new things about the synth engine, this environment. So, yeah, I really hope, you know, I hope that other people see this and hear how cool this is, because it really is. You guys are really onto something with this. This is very interesting.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Richard. I totally appreciate the you know, the time here today, and I was really looking forward to talking to you about this, because I really wanted to hear your thoughts on it, and I certainly got that. So that's awesome, man. Thank you so much, man.
No problem.
So, well, once again, this is Blake here with Behind the Synth. Nate's right over there, and our special guest is that way, Richard Devine. So, yeah, thank you so much, Richard. Have a good one,
Richard.
Man.
You too.
See you then.